Be very aware of the one-way street.
It's a one-way street.
In many towns and cities in Mexico, there is no such thing as a two-lane road. In fact, almost every Mexican road you'll find, except for highways, which usually have a median, only allows traffic in one direction. This can get tricky as there are not many NE way signs. To a Mexican person, that'd be a little redundant because they already expect that every road is a one-way street. In a city or town, much like in the US, the direction will typically alternate after each block. If you're ever in doubt and there are no oncoming cars, to alleviate your confusion, look about 8 feet up on the wall of whatever building is on the corner. Often, there will be a subtle arrow pointing in the direction of the flow of traffic. Now, here are a few more realities about the one way streets in Mexico, okay? The reason why you guys see me backing up in reverse like that, fast, there's a few reasons for that. Number one reason is at first I didn't notice that that was a one way street. This was my first time in the street. I was actually going to try and do a 180 and get it recorded, but then I noticed that it was a one way street. So then I still reversed all the way to the back, but I didn't do the 180 anymore. That said, I'm used to doing that in Mexico. I used to live in a one way street. And actually, I used to pretty much always reverse all the way to the main street next to the Starbucks in Acapulco and Costa Azul to go to the main street because otherwise I'd have to like drive around a block, which was like 4 streets more. So, to save gas and to make it quicker, if there was no traffic, I would just reverse like a long street too. I would just reverse it straight. So I'm used to reversing this way. Another thing is, if you guys reverse like that, the cops can't do nothing. Unless you hit a person or a car, of course. You got to be careful. But the police cannot give you a ticket if you're reversing. They can only give you a ticket if you turn around and then you go the other way. Now, that's the first explanation. Second explanation is the following, okay? The cops themselves will sometimes take off signs, and some streets don't have this sign. So sometimes it's a setup. Like if the cops know that there's tourists driving, there's people that rented cars driving, or people from a different city, they will sometimes take the signs off and put them back on. And they will hide around and wait for someone to pass a sign, and then they'll pull you over and they'll try to extort you and take money off you. I'm going to make a detailed video on how to deal with money, how to have cash on you, and how to bribe cops and how to talk to them. I'm going to make a whole video on that. I haven't done it yet, but when I do, it will be linked up below and above. I will do that one before the end of the year. Okay, guys? Now, that's it for that part. Now let's move on to rule number 3 of how to drive in Mexico.